Good morning, Azeroth. Good morning, Azeroth. This is Neall, your friendly warrior tank from Medivh, and I help people earn achievements and kill raid bosses. And this is Good Morning, Azeroth. Neall's attempt to bring the news from all around the world of Warcraft. This is the news for Thursday, July the 13th. Thursday, July the 13th, 2017. Top story today, they made a hotfix. So if you weren't following along, this week is Outlands or Burning Crusade Timewalking week. And something that was happening this week is the new Black Temple Timewalking raid available for the first time ever. And what people were seeing was that the lockouts were working like mythic lockouts. So if you stepped into Black Temple Timewalking and your group fell apart, which was possible to happen because you did have to have a pre-made group to go into Black Temple Timewalking. So a lot of groups were forming in the group finder, and some of those groups were falling apart. Supremus, not exactly easy, a good place to fall apart. Gurtog, Blood Boil, easy place to fall apart. Illidan, an easy place to fall apart because there are mechanics that have to be dealt with, and if you're not dealing with them appropriately on the first couple of pulls, people might get frustrated. The problem until today's reset was that you were locked out of the instance for the week. You could only enter once. Once you killed a boss, you could no longer go back into any other instances. Some people were falling apart at Illidan, were able to start a group at Illidan with their lockout, but everyone that joined that group had to have a fresh lockout, so they had to have not killed any of the bosses, and they only got to kill Illidan, which was working for some people but not for everyone. Also, if you had to leave early for some reason or another, you couldn't come back and kill things. Until today, they did a hotfix that allows you to go back into the Black Temple Timewalking on your character multiple times in the same week. So I believe you will be loot locked to bosses that you have killed, but you will be able to re-step in with a different group wherever they are. We did go into Black Temple Timewalking last night. The guild took 2 groups in. I think we had about 50 people get through Black Temple Timewalking last night. The group I was in had 25 people. We were a full group, all guildies. It took us about 3 hours, a little more than 3 hours to work our way through. We did use Preach Gaming's video on Boss Guys. Basically, I just reiterated, told his strats from his video to the group, and that worked for us. I would suggest voice chat. There are a couple bosses that are a little more difficult. And I'll go through them now just so you may be familiar, but voice chat helps, and gear I don't think really matters, because again I think it scales you down as long as you are eligible to enter the raid. Everything is scaled to that level. I think being a 110 helps because you get all of the talents and abilities and whatnot that you have at 110 at your disposal, but not sure that it's required. I think there were some lobies that went through last night with the guild. First up, Nagentis is easy enough. You basically take him in the middle of the room, DPS spread out and healers spread out behind him. He throws a spear at people. People have to click on the person that he threw the spear at to get the spear off of them. I think he throws out 2 spears, and then he puts a bubble on himself, and the people that I believe clicked off the spears have the spears in their bag. It's not an extra action button, it's actually a in your bag thing. I believe you have to click on the boss, click on the item that is in your bag, and then throw it back at Nagentis. When that happens, there's a little bit of a AoE burst that goes out and some raid-wide healing, but otherwise Nagentis easy enough. We one-shot him. Then you clear all the trash up to Supremus. Supremus can be pretty interesting. You do want to clear all of the trash that is around and near Supremus, including the dragons in the sky. Clear out most of that room. You're going to need it. Supremus, I guess the 2 difficult things, he has 2 phases. One is he's going to hit whoever has the most health phase. So one, the tanks want to generate a lot of threat, and healers need to keep them topped up. If one of the melee DPS ever has more health than the tanks, he's going to start one-shotting your melee DPS. Then he has a fixate phase, where he fixates random people and chases them around the room. If he catches up to you, he kills you. So when he goes into fixate phase, people need to get away from him. He's got a huge hitbox. You need to kite him to one side of the room and then the other. The problem that I was having yesterday was I wasn't recognizing when the fixate phase was over, and he went back into the tanky phase, and he started one-shotting our melee. So I think I'm going to go back and look at the video later today, but I think he chases 4 people around the room and then he goes back tanky phase. There's some number of people that he fixates on, and then he's back into tanky phase, and that sort of rinses and repeats. There's a lot of poo on the floor. Don't stand in the poo. Kill the boss. We one-shot Supremus, although half the raid was dead when we killed Supremus. Then we went up to the Akama fight. We had to clear out the entire room in the Akama fight before you talk to Akama. We put one group on the left side, one group on the right side. They dealt with the ads that came in. There are ads that come in on the sides that just make a beeline for the platform where all the channelers are. No way to stop those guys. Look at this guy looking like Robin. Isn't that awesome? Robin right here in the middle of my screen. 2 groups handling the ads. The ads aren't there all the time, so there was plenty of time to kill the ads and then get onto the channelers on the platform. Kill the channelers on the platform, deal with the ads that come out of the 2 sides of the room. Once you kill all the channelers, you know, it's defeat Akama's shade before he kills Akama, or vice versa, whichever. We one-shot Akama. Then we went upstairs to Terran Gorfiend. Terran Gorfiend, a little interesting in that it still has that shadows mechanic. So there's one player that's going to get a buff. I think it's called Shadows or something like that, shadowy something. That player needs to go to the back of the room. They're going to go into a ghost form. They're going to have like vehicle abilities where they need to slow and kill spirits trying to make their way to Terran Gorfiend. If they get to Terran Gorfiend, that's bad news. It seems like we didn't have any trouble slowing and killing those ads. Not sure if this is intended or not, but everyone that went into that got picked for that ability. They died at the end of that whenever they were coming out of that phase. So I'm not sure if there's a way to get out. Maybe I'll do some research on that. But everyone that went in died, and we one-shot Terran Gorfiend, even though he was face pulled, and we did explain the fight, but we were trying to hand out some loot and we got face pulled. Anyway, we one-shot him. Then we went down to Reliquary of Souls. Reliquary of Souls, one of the interesting facts. First off, there's a gauntlet in front of it. We wiped because we face pulled the boss while we were still dealing with the gauntlet. So what you need to do is deal with the spirits on the way to the reliquary. So basically you're going to one of the big blue ads, killing all the things on one of the big blue ads, moving to the next big blue ad, killing all the things on the next big blue ad, moving to the third big blue ad, killing the things on the third big blue ad, and then you want to get ready to pull Reliquary of Souls. If you go down the ramp at all, you're going to start the encounter. So basically we huddled up at the top of the ramp and explained the fight, which is like this. In phase 1, the first phase 1, in phase 1, the healers are unable to heal, so everybody gets to DPS the boss. It's basically a you don't have any healers healing, so kill the boss before he kills you. Then he goes to sort of the intermission phase. We all stack up. We kill the ghost. In the next phase 1 or phase 3, however you want to look at it, the boss has a spell reflect ability up. So basically you're trying to kill that version of the boss without killing yourself. You're not trying to blow things up. You're trying, controlled DPS. You need to DPS him, but you are damaging yourself every time you damage the boss, so healers be aware of that. There were some mages who were getting some procs and going to mostly dead when they hit the boss, so be aware of that. You're not trying to blow up the boss, you're just trying to kill him without killing yourself. Again, another intermission, stack up, kill the spirits, Phase 3, he starts putting a stacking debuff on you that is doing more damage to you, so that's when you hero rings all the things and kill him before he kills you. We one-shot after the inadvertent face pull and wipe before Reliquary of Souls. After explaining the fight, we one-shot Reliquary of Souls. We then went to Gurtog Blood Boil. Gurtog was really the first fight that I thought you really need a group that understands what they're doing. Basically, you need 2 ranged groups that are rotating forwards and backwards. The group that is furthest away from Gurtog will be picking up stacks. When they get to 2 stacks, those 2 groups need to swap. You need, I think, 5 people in each group. And basically, if those people get to 3 stacks, they are dead, and that is bad. We still had people that, for some reason, we didn't handle that very well, and we had people dying to that even in our second pull. The tanks have to swap, but there isn't a taunt mechanic, so you actually have to out-threat the other tank to have the tank swap, so that's an interesting thing that we have to deal with. And then at some point he makes somebody in the raid really, really big. I guess it's phase 2. And that person needs to come stack up on the tank. You need to face Gurtog away from the group at all times. But essentially that's the fight. It's 2 range groups need to swap positions, 5 in each group. Person that gets big in phase 2 needs to come stand on top of the tanks, turn the boss away at all times, and try to tank swap as best you can. We 2-shot Gurtog. Then upstairs to, is it a mistress? I forget what her name is. But this is terrible. Let's check Dungeon Journal Neal. I think her name is Mistress, but it does not sound right at all. So we're going to go to Burning Crusade, we're going to go to Black Temple. Mother Shiraz. So Mother Shiraz, essentially, you tank her in one place, you put the range group in a stack. She's going to pick 3 people for this ability. She teleports them to a different place, and basically they are tethered to each other, and they need to break the tether. As they're doing that, they're doing AoE around themselves, so they need to run away from each other and not run through the group when they're doing that. And that basically just repeats for the entire fight. She's going to pick 3 people, they teleport, they need to break the tether, get back to the group. And we one-shot Mother Shiraz. Up the area again, and we're to the council fight. At the council fight, you basically have to split the 4 folks in the council. You're essentially focusing down the paladin on the Illidari Council. Let me find. So you focus down Gathios the Shatterer. So that's the main tank picks up Gathios. He puts poo on the ground. Other people put poo on the ground. Move him out the poo. Kill Gathios. High Nethermancer Zeravor was picked up by our Warlock. Basically Warlock tanked High Nethermancer for the entire fight. That's an interesting job. No, it's not. Lady Melande needs to be interrupted. She becomes immune to different types of interrupts. So when she is immune to melee interrupts, ranged casters have to interrupt her. When she is immune to magic damage, the melee have to interrupt her. So she needs to be interrupted throughout the fight. And then the rogue, Varus Darkshadow, one of your tanks is running around the room trying to get his attention as he disappears and tries to sneak up on people and kill them. So the other tank's job is basically run around the room getting Varus's attention. And we one-shot the Illidari Council. Then we were at Illidan. Illidan essentially needs to be tanked facing away from the raid. He puts poo on the ground, move out of the poo. He picks people for parasites. Those folks should move away from the group in Illidan. After the parasites buff goes off, we have ads, parasite ads. They need to be killed. Kill the parasites, kill the boss. I think that was all in phase 1. When we got to phase 2, he throws his blades down. 2 big fire ads come out. Those fire ads need to be tanked right on top of the blades that are on the ground. So the first pull, we had trouble because I pulled one of the ads too far away. So basically the raid needs to set up in the circle in the middle of the room. The 2 tanks need to be sort of on the outside, keeping the 2 flames right where they spawned in at, not getting too far away from the tethers, or they get a huge buff and then they just start one-shotting the raid. You focus down one of those, then you focus down the other. Then you're into phase 3, which looks very similar to phase 1. Face them away from the raid, don't stand in poo. Parasites come in, kill the parasites. Eventually the demon within will come out. When the demon within comes out, everybody needs to spread out at least 8 yards away from everybody else, 10 yards away from everybody else. There'll be a little bursty AoE. Then there'll be ads that come in and fixate on people, root people, try to make their way towards those people, kill those ads. Then spread out again, 10 yards, another bursty AoE. And basically that rinses, repeats until Medivh shows up. When Medivh shows up, she starts putting traps on the ground to help you. Yeah. And we 2-shot Illidan after we figured out not to take the fire ants too far away from their start positions. My impressions of Black Temple Timewalking were, it was good. I enjoyed it. I was glad that we could put 25 guildies together, about half of which are not on raid teams, and to be able to go through in about 3 hours and clear Black Temple Timewalking. If you are a raider, I would imagine you might think the fights are a little long and a little boring. There are very few mechanics for most of the fights, not too much to do, not terribly complicated. There are mechanics that can one-shot you or kill people if not dealt with appropriately, and people are aware of that, but the fight seemed a little boring and a little long for people that raid current content. Other than that, I thought it was a great event. I enjoyed it. If you missed the guilds runs last night for Black Temple Timewalking, I do have 2 events up for Sunday and Monday. Sunday night is the Black Temple Timewalking Fun Run, so this is a guild event, a 3rd guild event. Guildies get in first. It is open to open raiders. If you're in the guild, sign up on the guild calendar or on Open Raid. If you're not in the guild, sign up on Open Raid. When we have enough room, we fill up with tanks, guildies, healers first, and then invite Open Raid DPS to fill out the slot. We will run through with a 25-man group on Sunday night. On Monday, I've put up a 2nd Black Temple Timewalking group. This is Open Raid only. So if you're not in the guild or you don't get in on that guild's fun run on Sunday, can't make that. We do have a run on Open Raid for Monday night, both of those at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. Sign up in all the places. That's the news for today. Black Temple Timewalking. It's all about Black Temple Timewalking. Keep up with me in all of the ways. One of those ways, Twitch TV, the Neals. Go to the stream, throw up a follow. Appreciate the follows. We're on Open Raid, openraid.zergid.com. Go to Open Raid, sign up for events. We're in the guild, Shadowface on Medivh, Shadowface on Exodar, Medivh, the Alliance Guild, Exodar, the Horde Guild. If you're looking for a guild, we're looking for you. Join us if you're looking for a guild. And we're on Patreon, patreon.com. The Neals, that's where people are helping Neal, help other people learn more achievements and kill more raid bosses for as little as $2 a month. You get thanked, just like these fine folks right here. Ragnava, Zuki and the Random One, Neal, Adafluzi, Tender Mulva, Ocean Captain, Sinner, Archer, Bellwhip and Lunissa, Carl, Lucky Bee, Darla, Psycha, Mystery Patron, that could be you, Vinland, Nalis, Kakarot, Actisank, Shigan, Fantheria, Equinsa, Ucha, Morasha, Petsy the Beer Guy, Lean Beef, Coco Naughty, Dwarfy, Azarea, Nosy J, Divad, Shimei, Fuggle, Death, and Tigers Hong, Leia, Kluk Dog, Mystery Patron, that also could be you, Hoof, Kamiya, Exa, Finny, Mystical, Aramava, Zoo, and Lymphless. They're all helping Neal, help other people earn more achievements. We appreciate them all. Y'all have fun storming the castle today, and remember, fire is still bad. The sex pack. Y'all have a great one.